Hi guys, it's me, XOXO Michael, and before we get into this story time, you guys should totally subscribe if you're new here, send it around, show all your friends, hit that little bell, give a little gay baby some hope, and like, comment, subscribe, yeah, do all that jazz, please and thank you. And I love you all, my nubbies, my nub babes, you are my nubby babies. I'm a little all over the place today, guys, as you can tell, which might help for the topic of this video, so it keeps me from being extremely depressed. So today's story time, I'm going to talk to you guys all about my battle with depression. So there were many factors leading up to me figuring out I was depressed, such as being bullied quite often through elementary school till high school. Like you've seen in my previous video. If not, you should totally watch it. It's called My Story Time with Bullying or something like that. I don't remember what I named it. Selfish plug. But I was bullied. I was gay. I obviously kind of bigger, and I have one hand. So like, all of those factors piled on top to cause what I have now. So I have depression, which nowadays a lot of people have it, but I have been struggling with severe depression since I'd say my freshman year of high school, which honestly was probably one of my better years of high school. And it was like, my parents could tell, like, I was a depressed child. I remember like putting notes like I was gonna run away because no one loved me, and to think about it is just horrible to think what I put my parents through. Well, in high school, I thought it was different. I had a really great group of friends that helped me a lot, like pushed me and like, you're great, Michael, you are a good person. But amidst all of that, I was still in the closet about being gay. So I was already under this not hate, but like being bullied because I had one hand. But growing up where I grew up, it was not very accepted to be of any difference. Racially, sexuality, religiously, it wasn't very good in some people's eyes. So I was already feeling like this big, but then being gay went into like this. And I didn't know who to talk to. I remember crying myself to sleep a lot because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was worth it. I remember crying myself to sleep one night praying to not wake up because I felt like I was worthless. And it hits still to think like back to that, like, wow, I've come so far, but yet I have so far to go with this journey through it. And then, so freshman year I just cried. I was very emotional. I'm still very emotional. If you know me outside in real life, you know I cry a lot. And it's pretty rough dealing and like going through depression in general. Like if you have depression, you know it's rough. It's not like people think it's one thing, but it's really a whole nother thing. And on top of that, I also suffer from anxiety a little bit. So like when there are it's not so much like a big group of people. It's like when I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't know what's gonna happen next. It kind of kicks in like, oh, you're not gonna win. Like you're horrible. You should just go home and cry and kill yourself. Was a lot of it. And I contemplated it a lot. And it got to my sophomore year of high school. And that's when my grandpa died, who was my biggest hero, my biggest supporter. Like even if he wasn't there, I knew he was there. And he had passed away. And I remember many nights praying to God, to whoever, to take me and leave my grandpa. He has so many grandkids. He needs to see them grow up and graduate. I don't need to graduate. I am worthless in my own opinion. And that's what I thought. And then I woke up that day and my grandpa was gone. And I was like, why am I here and not him? That was my big thing. Why am I here and not these people? There are parents that lose their child at birth. Why couldn't I have taken that baby's place to go? Why? Like, why? Like, I was ready. I had made my goodbyes. It was time. I was ready to go. Well, I made it through my sophomore year, which was my worst year of high school in general. Like, I had a teacher that was horrible, and one night after I had actually gone home, I sat in the bathtub for like 2 hours, cried for hours on end, thinking I was worthless. My teacher has actually just sealed the thoughts I've had that I was a worthless human being and I wasn't going to succeed to anything in life, so why waste space? Why? No one needs me here, I've been told that, so why? Why was I still there? Well, I don't know. I'm still kicking, like I said already, but it's that thought of, I'm not worth it, so just let me go. Let me be at peace and stop fighting. And I remember having a conversation with one of my favorite teachers. She actually talked me down from basically a ledge. It was a weekend. She said, "Bye, Michael, I'll see you Monday." And I said, "No, you won't." And I started to walk, and she goes, "Hey, come back." And I go, "I'm gonna miss the bus." She goes, "It's fine, you can call your mom." So we were talking, and she goes, "Michael, I know you're upset, and just vent, just cry, it's fine. You don't always have to be strong. You can just let it out, and it's fine." Which I feel like people need to hear, and like sharing this might help some people, that it's okay to be weak, and just because you cry, it doesn't mean you're weak. It's okay to have those thoughts that I need to break down, I just need to cry. Like, it doesn't matter what for. If you just need to cry, let it out. If you're with people that judge you for you crying, they're not the right people. And I'd actually gone home that night. I made the bus still. I told my bus driver, "No, you won't see me. Have a great day." All of that. And I laid down. I went straight to my room, laid down, and cried, and cried, and cried. And cried some more. That was what my whole battle, it felt like, was just crying. And like, I remembered telling someone, and they're like, "You don't look depressed." I'm sorry, how do you look depressed? Black clothing cuts up my arm? No. Depressed can look like anything. It's literally anything. So don't just say, "Oh, you don't look depressed, so you're faking. You're just asking for attention." No. And then comes, so I was fighting with it, and then my mom asked me, and I said, "Well, sometimes Mom might just want to die." And it crushed her on so many levels, and still to this day I feel horrible for saying it. And I couldn't, it was the truth, and I was like, "I feel worthless, Mom." So immediately she says, "Well, you're going to Methodist, which is this hospital for depressed people so you don't kill yourself." But I'm like, "Mom, please no, let me fight this at home." And she did. And not too long after that, I got put on citrulline, also known as Zoloft, which is a antidepressant to help boost your levels of chemicals in your brain, your endorphins, to make me happier, was what it was there for. So it's supposed to, like, I was here, a normal person was here, I should be here at least. Well, I wasn't. I'm still not. I'm probably a little under, but like, I'm still fighting it. And while I was fighting it, my senior year was pretty rough. I'd been fighting, like, not fighting, but like contemplating what to do with my life. I couldn't think, like, am I going to be successful? My SAT score was horrible, so no one's going to accept me into school. I'm leaving everything I know at high school goodbye, just deuces. I'm leaving all of that. Well, then comes graduation. Well, actually, it was senior night first, so that's one thing, like, that's basically the start of your end. Like, you go to senior night if you're in any activities in our high school, and you walk with your parents, and then it's basically your farewell from that point on. It's just next after next after next. And I remember going to senior night and just dreading it because my biggest supporter wasn't there. My grandpa wasn't there. And it just hit me like, wow, he's not going to be here for any of this. So why should I? Why should I if he can't see it? Why waste government money to put me through school when I just want to die? Like, I put it up a front of a fake smile, like a, "Hi guys, I'm doing okay." But inside I was literally crying. Every night I was just like, everyone thinks I'm okay, and But I am okay, is what I would tell them. Like, yeah, I'm fine. But my face would say something else, and I'd hoped someone would realize it, but you never really know what people are going to catch and what they don't catch. And I remember my junior year in painting class with the same teacher that basically talked me off a ledge. And we were doing a social commentary painting on whatever we wanted. A social commentary is something we see wrong with society and just shed light to it. Mine was teen suicide, because as someone who fought with the suicide, I had known how it felt to feel so alone and to think of all of these options, like shooting myself, noose, pills, cutting myself too deep to where I just bleed out. And I had done it. I printed off a bunch of pictures of kids, and still to that day when I was doing it, I'm like, might as well print my picture off and hide it in there, because I'm going to become one of them. I'm going to become a statistic. I remember scratching words into it, like fag and slut and whore and all of that, just like seeing what these people were actually called, what cut them down. And really, like, I was called fag and monster and all of that, and it cut me down to where I felt my self-esteem was lower than anything. Like, it was shorter than the grass in a desert. And I had finished it, and we had to write why we chose what we chose. And one of my then friends said, well, everything you do, every project, you leave a little bit of yourself behind in. And every time you do a project, it's showing something. And then she asked, are you depressed, Michael? And I said, no, I just really think teen suicide should be talked about more. Well, I was depressed. I'm still depressed. And, like, I just kind of wish I would have been more open with, yeah, I'm depressed and I need help, which it's not that easy. Like, you could say, anyone could say, like, well, just ask, there's help. Yeah, there's help, but the hard part is saying, I need help. I'm struggling. In any situation, like, the hardest part is saying you need help. Well, I needed help, and I was just too scared to ask. I was still on antidepressants, boosting them up every time I went, and, like, my doctor was like, well, do you think they're helping? No. Well, then he boosted them up again. And then I was talking to my mom, and I just felt like I wasn't good enough in anything. I'm like, I'm a horrible son. I'm not gonna cost so much to go to college. Might as well just die. And I told my mom, it's your fault I want to kill myself. And that's a habit of people being depressed, that they pass the blame onto someone they care about. And I did. I picked the person that was there for me through it all and pinned it on her. That, Mom, it's your fault I want to die. And I can't help that. And I remember her face from smiling and just talking to me, completely drained. And her crying because I had just blamed her for it. And I was just like, Mom, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. And that's the night she slept in bed with me, I believe, to make sure I was fine. But that year was my senior year, and everything was coming to an end. High school, the thoughts that my grandpa wouldn't be at anything, graduation, senior night, going to college, wasn't there for anything. And it still hits me, and it still struggles really hard with me that he's not there. And I did a speech, an informative speech in my public speaking class. And I did it on suicide. And it, like, my teacher was like, wow, Michael, you're going really powerful with these speeches. But people don't really know about it. They're like, wow, attention. But we never get anything done about it. I can recall maybe 2 signs in high school about suicide. 2 through 4 years. 2 signs, but statistically 1 in 10 or something. I don't know the exact statistic. But so many people are suffering from depression, and our high school had nothing to help it. And that was my biggest thing when I left. I'm like, deuces, like, now to go help these kids that don't get the help they need here. And like, our counselors could do all they could, and I never talked to them. I always felt more comfort talking to my family, because, like, they're my family, they can't really just leave me, type of thing. And so I was good. And, like, I was doing better until I went to college. First semester, I loved it there. I was able to be myself. I wasn't suppressing anything about me. I wasn't joking about being straight. I was Michael. I was Brenda. I was me. And I didn't care what anyone else had to say. I was who I was. Well, I was now then dealing with being away from everyone I had known and loved. My mom, my dad, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my grandma. All of it at once was just gone. Like, 8.5 hours away from the nearest person I know that can hold me when I just need to cry. So I'm in there crying, thinking just like, why did I choose to go so far away? Like, now I'm just like, seasonal depression's a big thing in a lot of people, and it was hitting me. I'm like, no, this isn't seasonal, this is just Michael being depressed. And at that point, I was living by myself with a roommate that I didn't know, and I just decided to stop taking my medicine because my mom's not there nagging me, take your medicine, take your medicine. And I decided, well, why do I need it? I'm happy, or so I thought. And I remember my first talk with the teacher that told me, you aren't doing too hot in my class. You're failing my class. And I went straight to my room, bawled like a baby, and contemplated, well, Michael, maybe you're not worth it. You should probably go just do the world a favor. Then your roommate gets free tuition. It's fine. It's a win-win. And I remember calling my mom, just like upset, and she could tell by the tone in my voice, like, you okay, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm fine, to where I could just get off the phone sooner. And it really, like, hit, because I was just scared that I'm not enough, so why waste oxygen and resources when it can go to a kid that needs it more? Well, I've come to a point where I realized, like, yeah, I'm still depressed. Like, the other day, I was so depressed I cried myself to sleep because I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, you have one hand, so I'm not gonna talk to you. So I just was crushed. Like, why is it because I have one hand that I'm not enough? Like, I didn't do this to myself. Why can't you talk to me? But it's myself. I have to fight with my depression, so if he can't deal with this, if you can't deal with one hand, how are you going to deal with the monsters I have living inside? Type of thing. And that was my fear. Like, I didn't really tell people about being depressed and everything, and I remember countless nights crying in the bathroom at school because I didn't want to wake my roommate up. But then I got a really good roommate who would just cuddle with me. You're fine, Michael. It's going to be okay. And that's all you need to hear. That's all I needed to hear was, you're going to do great. And I can't thank her enough. Like, I don't think I was near there enough for her like she was me. And just the hugs that I needed. Like, I just need a hug. And she would give it. And, like, that's all you, like, someone, if you take anything away from this video, that if someone says they need a hug, give them a hug until they let go. Don't push them away, because that's what that person needs. They need that hug, and they asked you for that hug, so give them that damn hug, guys. And the thing that really helped me through it was art. I decided to start painting more, to draw more, because when I was drawing, I was able to let everything in here out. I didn't have to talk. I could just listen to whatever I wanted and just let it out, regardless what it was. And, like, that's another thing you should take, is if you're feeling depressed, talk to someone and then try to find something to help with it. Like, mine's art. My escape is drawing and painting and sketching and writing poetry. Something to be creative is my go, is my thing. Like, making these videos, it definitely helps. Like, I'm talking to someone and they're listening and they care enough to want to watch this, which is super weird. Like, I'm not that good, but okay. All 10 of you guys, I love you 10. But find your thing that helps cope with it. If it's art, if it's volunteering at an animal shelter to cuddle those puppies, if it's helping with other things, if it's spending time with family, watching movies, if that's what it is, do it, and do it until you're happy. Don't just say, oh, I did it for 2 seconds, I'm fine now, because you're not. You can say you're fine all you want, but you're really not. And sometimes you just need to give yourself reminders. Excuse me. I got a tattoo of something I needed to remind myself for, which is a whole nother story, but I'll show you it in this video because it was a self-reminder that sometimes I just need to. Okay, so if you probably can't see it very well, but the quote says, sometimes you need to choose happy, which is so true with all of us. And you can't just keep choosing to live the beat life. Like, I still tend to veer left instead of right, when right's sunshine and rainbows, and left is just depression and cloudy and not pretty. But it's a fight that you have to take. And if you see someone that you love start drifting away from you, talk to them, ask, are you okay? Don't say, are you okay? Because I know as it is, like, are you okay? Do I look okay, guys? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not okay. So don't ask, are you okay? Are you doing fine? Ask, do you want to talk? What's up? Like, want to go get ice cream? Want to go see a movie? Something like that. Don't ask, are you okay? Because that's just going to make it worse. Because if you're asking if they're okay, you know they're not okay. So why ask? Why waste your breath? Why waste the text? And if someone calls you crying, talk to them. Because I would rather stay up all night talking someone out of a suicide or anything like that than waking up in the morning to my best friend's dead because I didn't answer their call. And I'm really bad at answering phone calls. And I'm trying to get better at it, but I just can't. It's just one of those things. Well, and lastly, love yourself. Depression's a battle with yourself, so if you choose to love yourself a little more than hate yourself every day, then that's the positive. That's the good thing about it, guys, is if you choose to fight yourself and hate yourself that, damn, you're bad at everything, just quit, then that's what you're gonna do if your brain is telling you that and you start to believe it. But once you start to believe that you are enough and that you are gonna do whatever you want and do it so good, that's when you start to love yourself, and that's when you win. You don't win when you take the easy way out. Like, yeah, that is the way for some people. And it's not really the easy way. It is the hardest fight that they have gone through with their lives. And we all will go through it. Emotions are like a roller coaster. You have your very high highs and your dangerously low lows. And everyone will go through that roller coaster regardless what it is. But find your person, find your thing that help you crawl out of it, and then you're golden, guys. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, like, not any questions, anything, I will leave the crisis hotline down below because they're always there to talk. If they have to talk someone out, I read somewhere once, if I receive 10 phony calls and 9 phony calls and 1 real call, that I save that person. I'd rather have that one and not care about those 9 phony calls. And if you have to be that one call that that person receives and they help you, it shows that you needed help and that you were strong and you asked. If someone's like, well, you need help, don't do it for anyone but you. Because you're the only person you can change for, and you're the only one you can beat this battle for. Not your parents, not your siblings, your friends, grandparents, family, anything. You're the only one you can win for. And if you have to keep fighting this battle until you win it to where it's your deathbed, you won. Not this illness. So don't let this illness win. Let you win. Because you guys, you are so much more than enough, and I can't stress that enough. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. And if you're fighting it, you're not alone. There's always someone fighting it with you. Whether you know it or not. Whether you know that person or not, they're fighting it with you. And they will forever be with you. And, okay, I'm kind of depressed now about this whole topic, so I'm going to leave you guys with the quote of the video, which is, sometimes you have to choose happy, but choose happy for you. Don't choose it for your family, your friends. You need to be happy for you. And that's my thoughts. And if you need anyone to talk to, the crisis hotline will be down there. My social links will be down there. Just text me, say, hey, can I talk to you? Like, I'm not going to judge because I've been that person before. And I love you all. So you should stay awesome, be beautiful, change the world with your smile. Don't let them make you frown because you're perfect, guys. So I love you. Stay awesome. XOXO, Michael.